Welcome to startbuilding.me, where I battle technological issues every night. Let's see how it goes tonight. So far so good by the look of it. Anyway, I'm here to train people every day. I think training is mandatory. Exercise is the most important part of health. You cannot be healthy, I believe, without exercise. But the good news is, folks, you can do the bare minimum, which is what I'm here to do. 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes every night is to get people to get the blood pumping around their systems, stand up, get away from the computer, and improve your life and improve your longevity, your sleep quality, reduce your anxiety, and again, as I always say, so many benefits that it's stupid to list. You've really got to take my expertise on this, folks, or Google it if you don't believe that exercise is important. I think you'll find it is. Anyway, what we do is a few squats, a few push-ups, variations that anyone can manage, and if not, you can just be here with me in this Zen environment and take some time off during the day to breathe. We seize up, especially somebody like me who's lived with anxiety his whole life. The problem is you don't breathe enough, and or you breathe too much, sorry. You breathe too much, and that, I can't remember, it reduces or increases the amount of carbon dioxide that you breathe, and that creates anxiety, something to that effect. Anyway, I should probably know that, so I shouldn't be talking about it. So, we're going to start off with some squats. I have had a terrible day, folks. You've got to take the bitter with the sweet, as always. Seeing the crypto environment collapse from embezzlement from one of the big and most seemingly respected players, well, that's what we thought, since 2019, to find out they were just running over leverage beyond all belief. And I wasn't affected by it, but it's hard not to see people get absolutely affected by it without feeling bad for them. Good evening, Jazz. Good to see you. Benny Van Bonbon back in the house. Good to see you, mate. Hope you're okay as well. Speaking of not feeling so great at the moment myself, but I hope you're on the mend and getting a little bit better. Let's start with some squats, folks. Without further ado, sit down on something if you want to get the ball rolling and stand back up. That's what a squat is, folks. There's so many different variations of it, but that is the basics of it. This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. So when you're squatting, you sit back into your heels and stand back up, with the weight going to the outside of your feet so your knees don't do that and roll in. So think of the arch in your feet. You're sitting back into your heels. And what I've been revising recently to keep yourself balanced is like a preacher grip, like this. So you can just do that and keep your balance. Once you've got up to the next level, you don't want to actually sit down on it. You just want to touch your butt on it like that and back up. Now, as I was saying before, and a problem that I've had today as well, folks, from being anxious about seeing this meltdown happen in the crypto industry, which does affect Bitcoin, unfortunately, because people who are over leveraged dump their Bitcoin, and since Bitcoin is so liquid, obviously it drops the price massively, usually temporarily, but it still sucks to see that happen, even though I've been conditioned to it for 10 years, to see that these people have just been massively over leveraged, taken on all this money from different financial institutions that they have collateralized through a token that they created out of thin air. It may as well be the Federal Reserve, right? It's exactly what crypto was created to get away from, and these people are just doing it all the same. What's their background, you might be asking? Finance, right? They're all traders and they're all traditional finance dudes, so they're just doing to crypto what they've done to the financial institution, which has run it into the ground at the expense of everyone around them. So it's disheartening to see it, folks, especially if you're as passionate as I am about Bitcoin. But it's one of those messages to show people, to understand, to let them understand it's not crypto, it's Bitcoin, folks. Get that other garbage out of your mind. They're extremely high risk, and I'm a big fan of Solana, I'm a big fan of Monero. Extraordinarily high risk and a very small part of my portfolio. Bitcoin is the only one that has its own isolated terminator network that can't be hacked. And sure, it has price volatility, but I put it to you that after seeing Meta, the Facebook company, Peloton, a few of these big companies, blue chip companies, going down 70 to 80% in the last year, we're in for a wild ride, folks. We haven't seen an end to a secular bull market since 2007, 2008. And I am the firm belief we're in that a macro environment now where for the next 18 months, at absolute best, we will see an enormous crash. So another, 20 to 40% off the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Index. In Australia, the ASX or the FTSE, I think, is the exchange in London. I can't remember. I virtually don't trade stocks anymore. Yeah, Data Dash is always awesome, man. I'll have to check out his take myself and see what he's been saying. It's, man, like I said, what Sam Bankman-Fried did gets my conspiracy theory session going, thinking that he was a CIA agent trying to destroy the environment because nothing else makes sense. Who offered to give this guy loans with collateral that he created out of thin air, to me is, obviously a massive disregard, no due diligence at all, and criminal. I can't see how he won't go to prison for this unless he flees the Bahamas. Yes, yeah, well, the one important take home from here, folks, is the saying that we have is Bitcoin, not crypto. Trust. Don't trust, verify, right? The reason Bitcoin is the only crypto worth a damn is because you can verify the exact amount of money that is on it due to the supply that you can verify. You cannot do that with a single other cryptocurrency, right? So the genesis story of Bitcoin is designed to show the finite number in it so it couldn't be fudged. Every other cryptocurrency cannot do that. And that's why it's just basically no different than the current existing financial system, and essentially leads itself to massive Ponzi's like we saw. So these guys were using the Solana infrastructure, which really sucks because I'm a big fan of their projects. And fortunately for me, due to life choices that I made, I cashed out all of mine because I've got other expenses to pay at the moment. Sort of ironic, isn't it? It's, what is it? Jumped off a building to land in a pile of gold. That's soft. It's a stupid analogy. Anyway, let's do some more squats and try and calm blue ocean, calm blue ocean. The industry is not going to collapse. I'm going to turn down that. It looks like it's peaking again. I think it's my loud booming voice that's doing it. There we go. Audio. Don't know why that keeps on blowing back up. I might have to resave that. That will be maybe a bit louder than that. Check, check, 1, 2, check. Check, 1, 2, check, 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 check. Yeah, that'll do. Anyway, squat for life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you've only got 5, so take a load off, folks. You don't have to go for broke. We're competing against ourselves and our performance yesterday. No more, no less. You don't want to keep up with me because you might not be able to, and then you'll injure yourself and you won't be able to train. All we're trying to do is get you to come here, do what you can do, which might be, 3 squats and then take a few minutes off. Whatever you feel comfortable with. And like I said, in between, that I'm neglecting doing myself right now, is breathe. Always taking a time, one part of the day, to just stop everything for a second and breathe, folks. That's essentially what meditation is to distract yourself from yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My knee's starting to feel okay again, which is exciting. I was going to go for a run after this. I might actually have a crack at doing that. I just noticed now that my camera... Oh no, it's a different mount. That works fine. Sweet. Camera's in good order. The crypto industry is not. It sucks, you know, because I always preach to people about self-custody. Like I said, not your keys, not your cheese. You've really got to remember 12 to 24 words and learn some PGP or some other encryption format, how to keep it safe in just a notepad or Word file or whatever you want to choose. But people, that concerns them. But I got into crypto because during the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis, I was sitting in my office in Milsons Point, looking over the harbour, having my latte, reading a broadsheet newspaper saying that my bank, Commonwealth Bank Australia, is only going to guarantee cash withdrawals of up to $5,000 Australian, right? Just say you had $250,000 cash in your bank account. I had quite a lot because my rent was expensive and you know, I don't like keeping that much cash, but I have to for living expenses. And you're just being told there, hey, sorry, sucks to be you, but all your money is in fact just an IOU after you've deposited. You're not entitled to that money anymore, folks. That's a banking law all around the world. So that money that you've got in your account, you're not entitled to it. You've given that to the bank as an IOU. And if there's a bank run, like a bail-in where everybody comes at the same time to get their money and there's none left, they don't owe you anything, right? And so then in 2010, when I read about Bitcoin and got into it in 2011, was because this was the first technology that you can have self-custody of, where there's no middlemen, you know, there's no usury, there's just digital systems, digital software. And by saving 12 or 24 words, you've got it for life, to the point where I was hospitalized in 2013, had thrown all my computer stuff away, but had my seed, got out of hospital, bought a new laptop and phone, put my seed in, and bang, my Bitcoin balance was back up. That's the only reason I can do what I'm doing now. Otherwise, I'd have to still be working for the man. And it dawned on me then that this is the greatest technology that has ever been developed on the internet platform. And when you experience it, or you've had to rely on it like I have before, you start to see how important this technology is, not only for the people in the West that have access to bank and financial services, but the unbanked, the people who live in banana republics who don't have access to any banking software, which is why I always recommend dollar cost averaging, you know, buying your $50 or $100 of Bitcoin, learning how to self-custody, so learning how to store those 12 or 24 words, which you just put in to a phone app, you know, any of them like Mycelium or something work great, and that's all you ever need to recover it again. So people will take that information like I have and like etch it into a steel plate, so it's fireproof, and you know, mine's well hidden, and like nobody's finding it. And if I get amnesia, neither am I. So it's obviously that's the Achilles heel of the system, that if you get amnesia and you can't remember access to your stuff and you can't find that seed word plate, you're in trouble. Yeah, mate. Iraq, Turkey's rate of inflation is 87% this year alone. So whatever you have is basically half. It happened we're in Lebanon as well this year. It's going to start happening. It always starts in the poorer countries and developing countries and works its way up, folks. Because in the end, you know, the way the world's been set up through globalist corporations is there's no local grids for energy anymore. It's a global grid where futures contracts are traded. So you can only get 5 years or 10 years of coal at a time. And if you don't want to lock yourself into that contract, then you're not getting any coal, right? So that's why Australia produces so much coal. and all of a sudden we're not getting enough for our power supply to our coal plants, because welcome to commerce, right? It's like we can't just go up to a company and say, dig some more out for us. They're already at a capacity that they have negotiated with all their shareholders to make themselves profitable. And so they can't just start saying, okay, let's double our output. Like, people don't understand this. They don't understand how trade works, essentially. And so they're furious. Well, how come we're paying so much for electricity when we're digging the coal up out of the ground? And it's just like, well, because crony governments have made it so these corporations aren't getting taxed, and we all get smited as a result of that. So the reason why I'm not angry at capitalism, why I'm not angry at corporations, is because it was up to the government to put in regulations to stop this from happening. Instead of, all they did is take golden handshakes and do absolutely nothing, and put themselves in a position where they have no power over our oligarchs anymore, like Gina Reinhardt, Andrew Forrest, Rupert Murdoch, all these big power brokers. And now they're crying foul at the corporations. It's like, if you took all the lunches, you took all the trips, you took the golden handshakes at our expense, I'm not buying for a second that it's, you know, the corporation's fault. So anyway, don't trust the man, folks. The man is not here to save you. The man is here to embezzle you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And also, folks, have to state this. This is, yeah, exactly, calm blue ocean. Think of Kim's mum's new cat. What is it, Firefox or something like that? I like that. I would very much like to have a cat. I miss Lynx enormously. My old mate. Anyway, everybody knows my situation now that's prevented me getting a cat, and as soon as that's over, then I'm going to reward myself with a new cat, and Keith will have to make do. A foxtail, that's it. Keith will have to make do. But like I said, Keith and Lynx were besties. They used to hang out. And if I used to go and pretend to rough up Lynx, Keith would lose his mind. He would start going, oh, like, what are you doing to him? Leave him alone. It was the cutest thing ever. All right, that's Keith going off. Let's do some more squats. Like I said, yep. And breathe, folks. I've got to do this. This is why I'm living through Start Building Me as well, folks. I'm doing it for other people, but it also keeps me in check to do this, because it makes me feel better as well, right? That's when you know something works, you do it. And that's why I do this. It's like, obviously I love chatting to my friends, and I think it's a scalable business which could in the end improve people's lives. But hey, it improves mine. For the time that I'm here, get some therapy, talk to you people out there, help some people out, and take my eyes off the prize for a while. That, you know, money is just money, you know what I mean? And the only thing I notice after making money is that I spend more on garbage, to the point now where having a new lease in life currently is really put into perspective, and all you really want to do is spend money on roast for your dogs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in this iteration of Start Building Me, folks, I'm just doing the Start Building Me exercises to prove that it works. I am trying to get into the hang of doing it outside to do my chin-ups, which is the other exercises I do. Obviously, I can't walk. Mate, investing in your glutes is one important thing, because by developing them, it takes the pressure off your lower back and your hamstrings, which is what most people suffer from back problems and from tight hamstrings, is just because they have that lack of coordination due to the glutes being inactive from the motion. So the more you do this, the more you're training your posterior chain to work together, and it just improves your posture, it changes your life. Make yourself look great in jeans as well, which, folks, is what I'm always saying is a byproduct, a fringe benefit of exercise. Nobody should be training for appearances. You should be training for the feel-good factor that it gives you, the power of your mind, self-confidence, composure, de-stress. That's the best thing about it. Anyway, what have I got here? 20 minutes. All right, I've got my sprinkler going, so I'm going to do 10 more squats, do some push-ups, and let's get out of here. What am I doing tonight? Staying away from Twitter. Going to play some more GT7. Hope you're back on the mend, Benny boy, and getting back into some work. I'll let you guys know when I think there's a local bottom for Bitcoin. It doesn't seem to be the case now, and like I said, for the next 12 months, probably just sideline yourself and look at some charts that I'll send you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Kim, I got Keith to go up the service road of the Bruce Highway today, so we're making some progress there, which was great. And both of us ran past the dead snake. Going down to the floor cam. And I'll start off with a quick 10. Spread your fingers as always, folks. Don't forget, tense your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a load off. Maybe you did 1, maybe you did 5, maybe you did 3, maybe you did 2 and failed on the 3rd. Whatever you've got, folks, and take as long in between sets now as you want. So breathe. Still free, like I said, not for long. Carbon tracking apps are coming, you know they will. They're going to smite me down. No flying for Gordo, no driving around rich vintage Beetles, spewing in everything out into the atmosphere. No red meat for the lads or for Uncle Gordo. What do they say? We're going to be eating bugs, living in pods. Makes you wonder if we're surfing the, the closing out wave of the set in the economy. I hope not. Let's try and stay optimistic. So I will try and stay optimistic. Just seasonal lurg, yeah, always sucks. I sort of have this week as well. I just didn't sleep well, and then I started getting a bit anxious and depressed, and then all of a sudden this crypto madness hit, and it's hard not to get absorbed and feel sorry for people. So in your face therapist, I have empathy, categorizing me with something called alexithymia, saying that I've got problems empathizing with things, but I'm not 100% sure. As we've discussed, Ben, I'm not 100% sure with any of their certified issues that they've presented me with. I think it's a lot of quackery. But they're good at accepting money from my account. And it kind of has a dual purpose at the moment anyway, as I need psychiatric evaluation, which is always good. It's good value. I've got a good psychiatrist. He's just a bit of a lad, plays guitar, plays golf with me, go to the driving range and stuff. It's a funny character. Stay positive, 100%. And it's hard when you're sick, you know, you're lying there, and the good thing about the dogs is you feel like death, and you still manage to pull yourself up and go and take them for a walk. In a second, you get a bit of vitamin D, feel that sun on you, keeps you going through the day. So it helps a lot. Yeah, 100%. I like the analogy that you use. It's like the people in the room with the elephant, you know, in the dark, and if some people swear they've got the tail while the others swear they've got the trunk, you know. It's, you know, it's pseudoscience. It's 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 not science. And like yourself, when you're a trained scientist and you're used to correlation coefficients of 0.9999996 reoccurring, and they're offering you 0.3s, 0.4s, you're like, whatever. Sense, can't see, yeah, German Shepherd used to do that, yeah. Furry nurse for sure. Love sponge, I love that term, that's great. Dale the love sponge. Dogs are amazing for that, definitely, the absolute best. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's like when I started this, or just before I hit stream, I heard top clop clop at the door, which is Dale. It's like, let me in, and I was just like, no, Dale, you're annoying me last time, and then you just hear this pause and hear, and you're like, nah, sorry, mate, I'll be out soon. You just hear this sigh, and he walked away. So they're good. Yeah, exactly. Kim breeds dogs. Kim breeds Staffordshire Terriers, lads, and they're good. I like them because obviously Keith is half American Staffordshire Terrier. They're just not pedigree like Kim's. They're not show dogs. They're mutts with mutt genetics, and that's the way I like them. Cheap and vaccinated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm breathing, folks. Feels good. Feels good. Will I go to the gym now? Nah. I might have a cycle, a stationary cycle. I haven't had one of those in a while. Chuck on some episode of the TV. I watched the last episode of Andor last night, but I was just too distracted by Twitter, so I couldn't watch that again. I'm finding it hard to sit in front of the TV and watch stuff lately. Finding it hard to relax, so exercise has been good. Oh yes, I've already told Kim about CRISPR and making German Shepherds with that hip dysplasia genes that they have and stuff. Apparently it's cheating, Ben, but I like the idea of it as well. My idea is to breed super beast dogs, something like those Cossack, mastiffs, those Russian mastiffs. Breed that with a Great Dane. No, it wouldn't. The amount of shit I have to clean up already, I don't need anything bigger than what I got now. And also, it sort of concerns me, like, when I'm walking Dale, if he got bit by a snake or he, collapsed or something, he's 50 kilos. It would be really hard to pack him out and to get him to safety. So I think in light of that, the next breeds, I'm going to, as much as I love Diamond Dale, I think in light of that, we'll keep him a bit smaller. I think Kim probably knows all this, which is why she's breeding smaller dogs. Just for me as a novice, a puppy novice, I've only had older dogs. It was seemed like a good idea at the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What are we looking like on the clock? 2 more minutes. I'll do another set. And let's see, did the timer already go off? I didn't set the timer. Brilliant. No wonder it didn't go off. Ivan Drago dog, exactly right. It's exactly what I was thinking, man. Crisp it up, roid it up. Attack dogs. No, they wouldn't be attacking anything. They'd be too heavy. They'll just sit around all day and probably get bad knee joints. Purpose is good. Yeah, purpose is good. I would still work a job in healthcare, a contract job. Hard to find up here in Townsville, but I still think that there's a lot that I can offer the system because it's just in such a shambles at the moment. But I'm in no rush there, obviously. When it's not financially dire to find a job, it's good. But obviously the amount of time that I have in my day for what I do, I could still do quite a lot of work. And now at 40, I can't train all day, which is what I would have done in the past, because if you do, you just hammer your joints. You just start feeling your joints all out of whack. 10 more, then I'm out of here, folks. Good to see you back, Ben. Good to see you here as well, Kim, as always. Thanks for troubleshooting that few crappy days that we had. And Jazz, as always, like I said, Jazz's attendance here is absolutely immortalized. He's a weapon. So let's go. 3, 5, 10, whatever you got. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to switch off my hose, else it's going to flood in the backyard. Have a good night, folks. Love yous.